Good morning and Viva Mexico, everyone. Today is Saturday, September 16. We celebrate our independence, and here we are at Coffee and Headlines. As usual, this is the place where we get together to check out what's going on in our city, state, and country. We check out what's going on in your lives. We take a look at your comments, ideas, and suggestions, and make connections wherever we can. I hope everybody is having a great weekend, and I hope that wherever you are, you've had a chance to acknowledge Mexico last night or maybe today as we celebrate our independence, whether it is that you're in town and took part of the festivities or you're elsewhere and you decided to have some nice Mexican wine or maybe a little bit of tequila or simply listen to some Mexican music. I hope you've kept Mexico in your heart between yesterday and today. And of course, I hope you keep Mexico in your heart all the time. Today, we don't have a lot of news. Most of what we have has to do with what went on as far as the Independence Day celebrations here in Puerto Vallarta, in Guadalajara, and in Mexico City. But I also want to talk about an application that I started using on my phone very recently that you might be interested in. And I'm so glad that Bill is here because Bill has everything to do with my talking about this application. Bill, you pushed my buttons and I said that I would explain that at some point, and that's exactly what I'm going to do today. As usual, if you have something really pressing that you wish to share with everyone, adding a capital letter Q at the beginning of your comment helps a great deal. And if you are watching live for the first time, please let us know by writing the word new in your comment. We'll give you a nice little welcome. And of course, if you are watching later on in the day and you are watching on YouTube, please consider both subscribing to our channel down here somewhere and also liking our video down here somewhere so that we can get more outreach. It goes a long way whenever you do that. Okay, so let's see. Let me put my news on my screen for starters, and let me put it on your screen as well. Let us start with what went on here in Puerto Vallarta. I don't know if any of you went out to enjoy the fireworks. I was at home watching the Mexico City festivities through YouTube, and we shared a link for that on our Facebook page. But according to this news item, thousands gathered last night to enjoy the fireworks at the Malecón. And if anybody was out there, I certainly hope you did not get caught in the rain. I haven't heard of any reports of it raining last night, which would be a good thing. There's nothing worse than soggy fireworks. Of course, Mayor Michel was the one who led the celebration. He gave the traditional grito from the balcony at City Hall. And other than an viva for Puerto Vallarta, he did not seem to drift from the traditional speech when it comes to arengas or harangues. What are arengas or harangues? Well, a harangue is a powerful, forceful speech designed to motivate people and get people all riled up. But in the context of Mexican independence, from the very beginning of the independence movement, Miguel Hidalgo got his troop all riled up by saying a series of vivas or long live. There was one for Viva Mexico, there was one for Viva the Insurgents, and so forth and so on. So it is traditional, and we talked about this during our Mexican Viva Mexico music appreciation presentation. It is traditional for mandataries, from mayors to governors to presidents, to do the traditional speech and include arengas or harangues such as Viva Mexico, Viva Hidalgo, Viva the Heroes, so forth and so on. So here in Mexico, what we tend to do, or what we observe from the news, is whether any of the politicians or governors or mandataries detour from the traditional speech. And what we noticed is that Mayor Michel did not. All he did is he had a Viva for Puerto Vallarta, which is oh, Lars says, Viva Mexico, Viva Coffee and Headlines, Viva Paco, Viva Cluster, Viva Lars. That's very funny. It's so nice that you're here with us, Lars. Meanwhile, in Guadalajara, the government of Jalisco, let me put that on the screen. The government of Jalisco surprised with a concert by Mexico's preeminent rock band, Café Tacuba, which was a much more progressive choice than the more traditional performances that took place in Mexico City. More on that in a moment. In Guadalajara, Governor Alfaro led the celebration from City Hall along with his wife and daughter and other special guests. As is traditional for him, aside from the harangues proclaiming the main independence heroes, he had vivas to share for those heroes from the state of Jalisco that also fought for our independence. And finally, he commemorated the federalist nature of the government of our state with a viva for the free and sovereign state of Jalisco. And in Mexico City, as is now tradition, President López Obrador departed from the traditional speech altogether to include all sorts of colorful harangues, including vivas for our migrant brothers, one for indigenous tribes in the country, and one for Mexico's amazing cultural diversity. And then he departed from protocol, as he usually does, and instead of vivas, which means long live, he threw in a bunch of que mueran, which means let them die. He had one for greed, let greed die, let racism die, let discrimination die. These statements, of course, are very much aligned with his politics, not so much with nonpartisan nature of the celebration. And those are the kinds of things that we Mexican nationals observe or take a look at in the papers the following day. Personally, I just stayed home. I had such a nurturing presentation at the Joint Hotel, and then such a lovely dinner in the company of some dear friends. Some friends invited me for Mexican Independence dinner a couple of days ago. So I was quite happy to be home and enjoy the broadcast through YouTube of what was going on in Mexico City. I didn't watch the whole thing, but I was really happy to watch, well, something that has been very big in the agenda of our president is to preserve indigenous culture in Mexico. There was a moment in the celebration where there was this gorgeous poem which was performed by a number of kids in all the 69 indigenous languages that are still spoken in Mexico to this day. We know that Spanish is our most spoken language, but there are many, many other languages, 69, that we try to preserve as much as we can. And of course, this has been big in the agenda of the president. I also was amused and somewhat felt sad for this group from Washington State that has been trying to make it here in Mexico and has been failing miserably. I'm talking about Yalitza y su Esencia. It's a trio of American kids that were born in the States from Mexican immigrants, and they have been doing great on the charts in the United States, performing regional Mexican music. Then they came to Mexico and they were interviewed, and they told them, what do you like or dislike about Mexico? And these kids say, we don't like Mexican food, we don't like the noise, we don't like Spanish. And of course, they're young, they're teenagers, and that didn't go well with the critics, and that didn't go well with the public. They've been boycotted, and everywhere they've tried to perform. So apparently this got to President Lopez Obrador, and he let them perform last night. And they play well, but clearly they were not properly advised by their PR agency. You just don't come to a guest country and speak negatively about their habits or traditions. I also noticed that it rained very heavily in Mexico City during part of the ceremony, and I got to hear the beautiful Huapango by Jose Pablo Moncayo, which is kind of like Mexico's second national anthem. We talked about the Huapango in our music appreciation presentation this week. And as is my tradition, I didn't stay up till midnight, for better or worse. Around 11 o'clock at night, I fell asleep. I got crochet fatigue, I suppose, and I went asleep. I went to fall asleep, and I had a lovely night's rest. Of course, this morning, if you were hoping to catch the local parade, as I posted on Facebook earlier, the parade started at 8:30 in the morning, so it will be probably over by the time Coffee and Headlines is over. The military parade in Mexico City started at 10 a.m., and I will include the link in the show notes in case you want to watch the tail end of it. That is a long parade, so I'm sure that a lot of it will still be going on by the time we get done with Coffee and Headlines. Let us take a quick look at the weather forecast just to see what's going on before we continue with a couple of other things. Oh, if the word feedback hurts your feelings, boy, do I have some feed forward for you. Now, that's an interesting word game. I love it. I love it. It is 29 degrees right now, which is 1 degree less than it's been. It's been 30 every single morning, but today it's 29. Humidity is at 74%. Our temperature in Fahrenheit degrees is 85. And our weather forecast for today says mostly clear skies in the morning with thunderstorms in the afternoon. Chance of rain of 50%, a high of 33, and a low of 26. Tomorrow, Sunday, scattered thunderstorms possible throughout the day with a chance of rain of 64%, a high of 32, and a low of 25. Then Monday, we'll start the work week with mostly clear skies in the morning with thunderstorms in the afternoon, a chance of rain of 80%, and a high of 33 and a low of 24. I'm already seeing some fascinating comments coming from you guys. We'll get to those in a second. But first, as always, it's Saturday. I don't want to forget to acknowledge our new subscribers and, of course, acknowledge our community partners that help us financially support Coffee and Headlines through your subscriptions. This week, we have the wonderful Shelly and Larry who joined us as Clusterites. And then we also have Scott and Dan who joined us as Cluster Angels. Every time we get a new subscriber, you keep us going. And that is something that Luna and I appreciate very much. Of course, I want to mention our community partners, Apache's Martini Bar, which is a fun alfresco bar in the heart of Zona Romantica, Best Cord Cutting TV, a locally based television service provider, offering you hundreds of international and national channels, Hotel Mercurio, Puerto Vallarta's favorite hotel for the LGBT plus community, Bistro Mercurio, their wonderful independently branded poolside restaurant, and last but not least, Joint Co-working Hotel, a beautifully appointed hotel located next to the Rio Quale that also offers a state-of-the-art co-working space. And of course, it is my cultural home. It is the place from which I do my music appreciation presentations. Now, I want to tell you about my errand walk yesterday. And the way I'm going to do this is I am going to show you the walk. This is not a walking tour like we usually do walking tours. This is a new application that I discovered. Let me show you one of the things that this application can do, and we'll take it from there. Oops, it helps if I put it on the screen, doesn't it? Let me start that again. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. I'm fluffing this up. Okay, so here we go. Param pam pim pam boom. And now I start this. There you go. Gina's question is going to be answered in a second. Gina is asking, what's the application? It is called Relive, or Relive, I suppose. It is a fun application that I discovered on the iPhone App Store. And let me tell you the story behind this application and why I started using it. When I got together with Bill Bass last week or the week before, I forget, Bill pushed my button in the best possible way saying, Paco, you're not walking much anymore. And I think I mentioned this on the broadcast. And for me, there's two types of walks. There's the walks that I need to take for myself for health reasons. And then there's the walks that I want to take for you so that you can connect with our city. So these are two kinds of walks that are equally important to me. So I finished my conversation with Bill. But what I said to him, and I think I mentioned this in the broadcast, is, you know, it's been so hot that it's been really, really challenging to do walking tours because I have to carry gear and do all this multitasking. But I still need to walk for myself. So Googling, I found Relive or Relive, I don't know how to pronounce it. This application allows you to track your walk or your car ride or your bicycle ride or your jog, whatever. Your phone gets connected through GPS and you can take photographs along the walk. And then the application will automatically assemble these little videos that I just showed you. But there's more. Let me show you the website or the web page that the application creates automatically for you. See, this is the same walk that I just showed you, and what the application does is, well, first of all, here's the same video that we just watched, But then if I scroll down on this page, it has all the notes that I took, just a few errands before Mexican Independence Frenzy. And there's a photo that I took of the joint co-working hotel, my presentation playground. And then here are two photos that I took around City Hall because traffic was really congested. Then I had to make an obligatory stop at my favorite yarn store. Not that I needed any new yarn, but hey, it was along the way. And then I took a photo of the facade of the newly renovated 20 de Noviembre school. And then I passed one of my favorite tacos de canasta places in El Centro. And then I continued walking by Parque Hidalgo. It was really, really hot, but I really wanted to get some walking done. And then I made it as far as the municipal stadium, so I figured I might as well keep going. Oh, and if you click on any of these photos, you can make them bigger. And how do I unbiggen it? There you go. And then I reached Francisco Villa Avenue, which is the road that leads to my home, and I figured I could just go home, but I needed to go shopping at the supermarket, and I made it as far as the supermarket. And then the page shows you your activity on a map, and this is something that you can share with family and friends or whomever. And the reason I'm showing you this is because I'm hoping that other people will get as excited about this application as I did. Maybe you will start tracking your walks or your jogs or your bicycle rides. Not you, Logan. You are still confined to not doing bicycle rides. But this Relive application is fun. It is free, but if you pay a small amount per month, you can add an unlimited number of photographs and videos to your personal walks. Again, I'm showing you this not because this is going to be the new way we do walking tours here at Coffee and Headlines. I just thought it was a fun way to share a walk with anyone that is interested, and I thought you might be. So I'm going to leave links to all of this in the show notes as usual. And once again, thank you very much, Bill, for pushing my buttons. I am so grateful for that. Do we have anything else? All we have left is our chit chat. Yes, let's see what you guys are up to. Tun. Lots of hellos, which I appreciate. Boom, 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 boom. And oh, thank you for the reminder. Que viva Mexico, cabrones. Luisa brought this up yesterday. I thought it came from the movies. This actually came from Pancho Villa himself. Pancho Villa being a revolution hero. He is the one that allegedly said, Viva Mexico, cabrones. That doesn't make the phrase very respectful, but since Pancho Villa said it, we might as well use it. I know that Gina is in the house. Before I forget, Gina mentioned to me in passing that today she is making chamorros, and chamorros in English is, oh, help me, Gina, shank, pork shank. I think it's shank. Well, Gina is making chamorros today. She's going to have a small staff because it's a holiday. So apparently Gina only held on to Kevin to help her out. So if you are in the mood for chamorros, today is a good day to stop at Whiskey Kitchen. Gina, just confirm that you are making these and what time they will be available, please. Let's see. Ooh! Gary is in my hometown, San Pedro Garza Garcia in Monterrey. I love it. Param pam 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 pam, parim pam pum. Lots of Viva Mexicos. Clive says, who else missed the fireworks because the websites said 11:30, but they were over by then? Really? No way. That is unfortunate. I tell you, there's a problem with websites that don't publish information in a timely manner. I'm sorry to hear that. I hope that was meant for me because I'm inclined to say good morning, guapo, back to you, Maddie. Maddie, of course, has Provecho, the wonderful pizza place in El Tuito. Yay. Didn't the president say let's let corruption die? Yes, Angelica, that's precisely what I just said. Let's see. Lucas says, why does our city not advertise the events on time? Could not find the start time of the parade. Just curious. You know, Luke, I wish I had a good answer for that. I don't understand it myself. I mean, even a lot of the content that we had today, I'm not crazy featuring a lot of content of something that happened yesterday because, what's the point? Instead, try to promote it prior to the event, which is what we've been doing all week long. But as far as the parade goes, yes, I found out until this morning that it was starting at 8:30 in the morning, which is why very quickly I posted it on the Facebook page. You have no idea how much it irks me when any event organizer is not kind enough to themselves, let alone their expected public, by announcing things on time. Let's see. There's another cue from Gina, but we already answered that. Let's see. Isn't that great, Luke? All you have to have working for it to work is a GPS connection on your phone. So I'm looking forward to using it in the future and featuring more walks with it. Again, those are walks for me. The walking tours, they will come back. I promise. They will come back, but we need for the weather to get its act together. Boom, boom, boom. Patience, Grasshopper. You are right, my dear Muffin. We don't want you having an accident. So if your physical therapist says at least 2 more months before you can safely get back on the bicycle, then let that be. In the meantime, let's walk together. Let's see what else. Boom, 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 boom. There's another cue. Itchy nose. Good app in addition to your repertoire. However, the personal contacts are great. Thank you very much for that, Spencer. Much appreciated. There is another cue. Paco, if you want to share one of the pictures I sent you of the puppy, you're welcome to. I'll be happy to do that sometime in the near future. Boom, boom, boom. Please post link on today's chat segment. Thanks. Please post links on today's chat segment. Thanks.
¿Qué es eso? No entiendo.
No entiendo, Spencer. I'm not entirely sure that I understand what you're asking for. If you're talking about the show notes, well, we always post the show notes. It's part of what the offering is all about. And thank you for saying pork shank. Yes, that's what I meant. And Gina says that pork shank will be available as of 1 p.m. Yummy. Let's see what else we have. I think we are done. And Ben laughs at the Gina. Yes, Gina sent that to me some time ago. She's like, ¿Qué es eso? No entiendo. I think Gina had sent me a sexy text that somebody sent her and she couldn't understand it. So she sent that text to me, that audio.
¿Qué es eso? No entiendo.
Spencer says the new tour app. Well, Spencer, you have been here for quite some time, so you know these things appear in the show notes every single day. But thank you for the reminder. Thank you to all for joining me this week. This was a fun week. It was a lot of fun to put together Viva Mexico. I will be announcing all the encore presentations that we are starting to put together thanks to your insistence, and all the music appreciation things that we have lined up for October and November. And I already have dates for December, so I might as well start thinking of what to do next. Today is Saturday, and of course, I hope you will have a really amazing rest of the weekend. For me, it's going to be about staying home, chilling, pork shanking maybe, and crocheting and resting along with Luna. So I hope you have a great Saturday. I hope you have a great Sunday, and I will hopefully see you again on Monday. Have a good one.